What if I told you that I could help you accomplish the most insurmountable task with just 5 words? Well, it's possible. And make sure you stay all the way to the end because I have a special gift just for you. Hi, I'm Daphne, and I'm the face behind Ageless After 50, where we ditch diet culture, reclaim our rhythm, and thrive unapologetically. So, 5 words. Sometimes happens to me as well. Things can just get too daunting. Have you ever looked at a to do list and think to yourself, there is no way ever going to get this done? Well, I'm going to show you just 5 words that I always use for myself to really conquer any impossible task. And the magic behind it is keep it simple and to be kind to yourself in the process while doing it. So here's what I do. It is simple. It can be applied to anything in life, from the ageless AF eating rhythm method to work, to family stress, to just going out and about in your day. What I do is when I know I have to tackle a series of tasks, or it seems like the end game is too much for me to bear, taking that initial step is too daunting to think about, I say the 5 words to myself. All I gotta do is, and then you fill in the blank of the one step, not the whole goal, but the one step to complete to get toward the finish line. One step. So, to give you an example, if I have to clean my kitchen and it looks a wreck, I'm looking at it, it's just daunting. I'll say, okay, all I got to do is load the dishwasher. And then the next step and the next step. And if I have to take breaks during each of those steps, so be it. But when you break down these tasks into doable, actionable steps, it doesn't seem so impossible. And it doesn't seem so daunting. Apply with the ageless AF eating rhythm method because sometimes it can seem like the biggest, no pun intended, weight on your shoulders when you have to lose a certain amount of weight or things are getting out of control on the scale or whatever the case may be. Don't look at it from that perspective. This is when you're not being kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. We're all human. Here's the great thing with accountability. As long as you're showing up and accepting your part with accountability, accountability is one of those things that has an acquired taste to it. It doesn't really taste so great the first time you go for it. It's like, I don't know. But then you get used to it. And then accountability kind of kicks in. And then you kind of develop a taste for accountability and you actually embrace accountability. You start showing up for accountability because then guess what? This is your life. You take charge of it. And then you'll start seeing things in a different lens. That's what I mean by being kind to yourself. Take accountability. That goes hand in hand with no judgment. No judgment for you and no judgment for others. I mentioned back in an earlier video, I've been in therapy for over 10 years. And that's the very first thing that they teach. Be kind to yourself, no judgment for yourself and no judgment for others. So moving back to all I gotta do, let's put that with how do you approach intermittent fasting? You're not going to just start and say, okay, I'm not going to eat for the entire day. No, no. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is exactly how you're going to go about intermittent fasting, the ageless AF eating with the method style. You're going to dip your toe into it. We mentioned the 12-12 method. That's 12 hours of fasting, 12-hour feeding window. In that scenario, if you are new to fasting, I want you to shift. And instead of thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to go that long without eating? refocus and say, all I gotta do is go through the night and wake up in the morning and have breakfast. That's it. Your fast is over. You go to bed, you'll wake up. Your fast starts at 8 p.m. Your fast will end at 8 a.m. That's it. You just completed a 12-12 fast. All I gotta do. I'll share my personal journey that I'm actually going through right now. I've had this YouTube channel for a year. And I initially started it as an AI channel because I love AI. I'm a complete AI geek. I teach it to global audiences and so forth. I started it as that. And I literally got one comment on one of my videos, and the person tore me to shreds to rip me a new one. So I pivoted and it was all over the place with my channel. I was giving hair advice, then dating, then career. And then I finally found my groove with what I know because everyone kept on asking me, well, how do you keep your weight off? How do you keep your weight off? Well, what's funny is I actually don't like talking about it. I didn't like talking about my weight loss because I didn't think like people would listen. And my story is very convoluted. For most of you who don't know my story, and I will circle the airport, I will land this plane quickly. I had gastric bypass surgery 25 years ago, back in my 20s, lost over 230 pounds, and life was beautiful back then. This is literally in 2000, the year 2000. It is now 2025. So that comes with a lot of judgment. Oh, you did it the easy way. You lost, you didn't do it right. Oh my gosh. And I always tell people, please miss me with that. Anyone who puts their life on the line for surgery and is willing to go through that is, you are really, kudos to you. As I mentioned, that was 25 years ago. And I was in my 20s, being every government statistic in terms of keeping the weight off. I did everything right, proper diet, exercise, but that was the problem, the diet and the exercise. I was in the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, sometimes doing cardio twice a day for 90-minute sessions. I was doing every diet under the sun. And in my 30s, the weight started creeping up. So I bottomed out in my 20s, but I went from 400 to 162. That was my bottom weight. Then in my 30s, I stabilized around 185 and really couldn't get below that number. In my late 30s, was diagnosed with Crohn. So that was a host of other problems because with Crohn's, you deal with prednisone. And if anyone of you know prednisone, you already know is the devil's redheaded child. It is evil. It causes weight gain, bloating, mood swings, just ugh. So I literally put on 80 pounds with prednisone, but that was the only thing I could take at the time. Fast forward, I had to get on chemo for my Crohn's because I didn't have health insurance at the time. So that was the only option. So I lost my hair on my 40th birthday. I have a video about that if you want to see it. But it was a long journey. And then my 40s came. I was able to kind of stabilize. I lost the prednisone weight gain, but got into liquid spirits. So I was pretty much on a liquid diet. So I had this bloated look and I was able to hide it from so many people for years until the panini hit. Like I said, I don't know what we can call the panini on YouTube. So the panini hit 2020. 2021 is when I finally made the transition of getting clean. And now I'm a little over 3 years sober. So, long story short, in that period, I went from 162 stabilizing because I wasn't eating at all. That's when I discovered intermittent fasting at its core. And I was doing it hardcore. I was going 3, 4, 5 days, and then I would break my fast with alcohol. I was just ripping my body apart. So that's why I always say do not, under any circumstances, break your fast with alcohol. It is dangerous. I was doing so many unkind things to my body. I want to be a cautionary tale for all of you out there. Do not do what I have done. Learn. Um, yours truly. I'm over the age of 50. My birthday's coming up, so I'm well in these 50 waters. No, don't come from the school of hard knocks. Learn from the school of hard knocks. So with that said, when I discovered this method, I created it, tweaked it based off the core fundamentals of intermittent fasting. I adjusted it for women over the age of 50 who have special needs. I'm one of those special needs. I have Crohn's disease, menopause, and a host of other things that I'm sure I'm not the only one going through. So that's why I created the Ageless AF eating rhythm method. And since that time in the last 2 years being on it, my weight has stabilized between 135 to 140 without having to change my diet and without having to work out furiously every day. Now I simply strength train, game changer, and I don't do that mindless cardio. So I'll discuss the strength training in another video, but circling the airport, now landing the plane here is the challenge that I presented to myself. I started talking about this on my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness. I started getting all these subscribers tuning in, and y'all, I got monetized. And I didn't even know the mechanics to get monetized. So that was so exciting. I got that. And then I stopped. I got so scared. I just stopped. I stopped. I stopped recording myself because I'm not great at editing. I didn't even know how, if you look at my earlier videos, I didn't even know how you're supposed to flip your phone. I was using all these different editing software. I would hire freelance editors. Some would do what I want, some would not. I was spending so much money on editors and thumbnail designers and everything, and no one was doing the way I liked it, or they were charging like these astronomical payments that was not in my budget. And so I left it alone and I didn't touch my channel for 6 months. And unfortunately, in these YouTube streets, when you do that, you are lost in the algorithms. It's literally starting from scratch. I had to start from scratch. And then it occurred to me, all I got to do is post a video. So I did. I posted a video in January and then I didn't post again. March came and I was determined. I said, you know what? Someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to hear what I'm going through. I got really sick during February, March. There was flare up. It was horrible and I'm still going through it. But I made a promise to myself and I wanted just to hold myself accountable that for the month of April, I was going to put up a video every single day. I didn't care if anyone saw it. I saw it. I would edit the video. I would create the thumbnail. I would come up with the titles. I would put in the work. But every single day for the month of April, I held myself accountable. And it is daunting. It is hard work. There are some days I don't feel like doing it, but then I have to break it down. Yeah. All you got to do is record, then I'll take a break. Yeah. All you got to do is edit. All you got to do is create this thumbnail. So I broke everything in pieces. And it's day 18. So I still have 12 more days. After this, the content will be consistent on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you like what you've heard so far, please make sure that you are hitting the like button and subscribe because the content will be fresh. It will be what you need to hear. And what I'm discovering about this journey is I have a lot to share that I want you to know. I didn't realize I was keeping to myself, and that, no, I want you to know this because there's things out there that I've encountered on this journey that I had to learn the hard way. And I don't want you to have to learn the hard way. Just like with this journey of YouTube, some of the stuff I had to learn the hard way, and some of this I was able to learn from others, and I'm grateful. So I want to pass my appreciation of learning to you. I'm going to land this plane and say to you, it's your turn. All you got to do is start. You've got, so share this with another woman over the age of 50 who you feel needs to be inspired. I appreciate you joining me today. Until next time, be kind to yourself.